Welcome to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin, the show that helps you take control of your health with clarity, confidence, and practical wisdom. Dr. Gary Martin has spent decades in clinical practice and natural wellness research, discovering that the key to lifelong vitality lies in understanding the body's signals before they become symptoms. Each week, we will explore simple science-backed methods like mineral testing, facial scans, and lifestyle adjustments that help you restore balance from the inside out. You'll also hear from expert guests and real clients who have turned their health challenges into stories of transformation. No gimmicks, no fads, just common sense wellness that works. Now, here's your host, Dr. Gary Martin.
Disclaimer, no diagnosis or treatment for disease is intended. Any observations or comments made by me are for general educational purposes only, and they simply represent my personal opinion regarding what I would do if I personally had the same concerns as the person voicing the question or comment. Please see a licensed health practitioner for all diagnosis, treatment, and information concerning prevention, cure, or restorative health care. I hold DN, DSC, PhD, DNM, and PhD degrees. I am not a medical doctor. I'm not a licensed health practitioner by choice. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to cure, treat, prevent disease, nor prescribe, nor to be used for diagnosis. Please be aware that you accept all risks associated with any of the protocols that we discuss.
Welcome to Common Sense Wellness. I'm Dr. Gary Martin, and in this episode, we're going to talk about why people keep repeating the same emotional and physical patterns, even when they're doing everything right. This is not about willpower. It's about stress, hormones, and unconscious belief systems, which shape the body over time. Let's take a closer look.
I'm here to learn what it feels like to be who I am not. That's why you're here. The age-old question of why am I here? You're here to learn what it feels like to be who you're not. You're not here to be who you're not. That's not what it says, does it? It says you're here to learn what it feels like to be who you're not. And why would that be? Because for the same reason that if your child comes to you and he says, hey, Dad, I need 20 bucks. Okay. If every time your child came to you and said, hey, I need 20 bucks, hey, I need 100 bucks, whatever, you just forked it over, no questions asked, no resistance, what do you end up with? You end up with, I mean, this is an extreme generalization, obviously. You end up with a spoiled brat, okay, who doesn't appreciate work, probably doesn't appreciate the value of money, right? So no. What do? You say, well, you know what? I got a great idea. If you do these chores and if you empty the dishwasher, if you do this and whatever, and it, all week long, at the end of the week, I'll give you X. All right, that's resistance. It produces learning. So here we are. We're this non-physical entity in this physical body so that we can interact with this physical dimension, and it's all governed by the amount of resistance that you have in your life. Soul pattern is who you really are. Your stress pattern is all the people and the places and the circumstances and the events. So that's this PPCE down here in this box. People, places, circumstances, and events that have been in your life, from family to work to friends to relationships, whatever. All right. They're all there. They're all manifested to produce resistance to make it as difficult as possible for your soul pattern, who it is that you really are, to manifest. See? But because it's who you really are, that's why you resist the resistance. Okay. The more you resist the resistance, the worse your BIA numbers get. And a funny thing is, the less able you are, meaning you're burnt out, the better your numbers get. So part of learning about the BIA is knowing when good numbers are bad. and when bad numbers are good. So back to the soul pattern, stress pattern again. So in the core, we have the organ number one. Organ number one in this case here is the thymus. The thymus is all about, okay, the difference, or let me just talk about the difference between organ number one and organ number 24. Two ends of the 24, right? Organ number one is, I want to create a blister on your arm. I'm going to use a pin to do it. I want to rub you with a pin. What are you going to do the minute that point of that pin touches you? Oh, you're going to react. You're going to pull back. You're going to respond. It's the thymus is all about aggression. It's danger. This person has spent a lifetime. This person is, well, at least 69. I should have wrote that on here. I don't know, but they're at least 69. So we'll just say 69. 69 years have been, the whole 69 years looking over their shoulder, paranoid about everything there is, right? And it could cite you all kinds of reasons of why they should be, need to be, because they've had one experience after another, after another, after another. Right now, the other end of the scale is 24. 24 is, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to create a blister on your arm, but I'm going to use a feather. Rub-a-dub-dub, rub-a-dub-dub, rub-a-dub-dub. You hardly ever know I'm there, but you give me enough time and I'll create the same blister. But the problem is that you almost won't know I'm doing it. So the 24 is like the deep, dark 24. And the one is like the sun shining bright down. It's right there in your face. It's aggression. It's something to really be afraid about. Okay. So that tells us a lot. If that's all we knew, we want to identify the plan against your life. That's the whole purpose of this memgram chart, really, is to, first of all, figure it out. What is it? And then as you learn more about the BIA numbers, you begin to almost be able to see it in the numbers. All right. So the core position is this thing called the soul pattern versus the stress pattern. We simply want to know, if we can find out who you really are, then we know what the plan against your life is. If we know what the plan for your life is, we automatically know what the plan against your life is. All right. All right. So we're still in just la land here. We're not into any kind of practical application. Okay. Because whatever is in your core is what's trying to be used against you. We then move to the cause, because the cause dichotomy is your mind's desire versus your body's addiction. And the dichotomy is that your body is always addicted to exactly the opposite of what your mind desires. Paul said this in one of the Corinthians. So your mind's desire, you'll notice that your mind's desire is on the same, is in the same top half of the box as the soul pattern.
Can you quote what Paul said?
What?
Can you quote what Paul said? I'm very interested.
No, I can't, except that he talked about, I want to do this, but my body does that. He's saying the same thing. He's just not using my words, you know. But I'll make a note.
I was talking there saying what?
Charlotte offered a comment there.
I can't hear you.
Either Romans in the Bible 6 or 8, and what Dr. Martin's speaking about, Paul wanted to do. He wanted to be good, so the things he would do, he did not, and the things he would not do, he did, and he couldn't get a handle on how to get out of this conundrum.
Right.
And so it was about the sin nature, because of Adam and Eve, that we have a sin nature, and so we're sinners. That's sin. We don't do it intentionally. It's just who we are, and we need a Savior to deliver us from the sin nature.
Okay. Thank you.
Romans
Thank you.
8.
Yeah,
I'll look.
read
I'll
the
look it up
table.
and send it to everybody. So we're sure what it is. I've got it somewhere. I just don't have it in my head. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I don't have in my head anymore. All right. So the mind's desire. Your mind's desire for your life is X because of your soul pattern, and therefore your body's addiction to exactly the opposite of what your mind desires is because of your stress pattern. So the way it works is this, is that because of who you are when you're a kid, you innately know when things are going your way and when they're not going your way. And the younger you are, the more you throw a temper tantrum or you do whatever. It doesn't really matter. The point is that everybody innately understands when things are going your way and when they're not going your way. Okay. And when the intensity of things not going your way has a stronger intensity at the cellular level than things going your way. And the intensity of things not going your way, having bad experiences as a child and what the who, what, and where, why, we're probably not going to be able to get into it tonight, it looks like, but the memgram chart is very specific. It's very specific about what it was, when it was, who it was, where it was, so that you can get in touch with this. Anyway, at the cellular level, your cells believe that happiness is exactly the opposite of what your mind desires, because when you are exposed to people, places, circumstances, and events that provide that stressor, that resistance, to live through it, the hormones come into play, and there's what we call a hormone dump that assists you to move through it. If we didn't have all these balancing hormones, your very first dirty diaper would have killed you.
And have cried.
You're wet. What do? All you do as a baby is you cry. You don't even, you just cry. You do that. If you cry loud enough and long enough, what happens? Pretty soon adults show up. And if for no other reason than to just shut you up, they get to work to try to figure out, why is the baby crying? Oh, dirty diaper. Change the dirty diaper. Everything's hunky-dory. But the stimulus that made the cry is the hormone dump. Because why? The dirty diaper creates an internal pressure. And if you can't let that pressure go, you're going to literally explode. Well, we can't have people exploding everywhere, whatever. So what do? That energy comes out of you by crying. Okay, that's the expression of the impression of the, oh my God, I got the dirty diaper. What am I going to do? I can't do anything. I need help. And then blah, out it goes. You can't block energy. That's a critical key of this whole thing. So what happens is that in some people, your cells begin to, I'm using a very simplistic example here, but in some people, your cells associate dirty diaper or crap around me as happiness. Because every time you have a dirty diaper and you cry, the hormones rush in to try to keep you balanced. The hormones are very stimulating to the cells. The cells think, whoop-de-doo, there's a party going on. And then everything gets resolved. And then your body goes to work right away then to try to manifest another PPCE moment because it loves the hormone dumps. And so to be able to identify what it is that triggers you is key to your health, which is what we can do. In this case, what do we got going on here in the car? Okay, in the cause we have 22, the parathyroid. Okay, the parathyroid is associated with anger, with stubbornness, with if it's going to be, it's up to me. So this person would, a perfect example of a 22 is having a birthday party and you're the only person who shows up. There's no support. The 22 is the parathyroid, has to do with calcium distribution in the body and whatever. Therefore, the hard tissues of the body, teeth and nails and whatnot. But it represents foundation or lack of it. The foundation got ripped away. So what happens is that you see this right here under the cause box on the chart, says invisible belief system. Well, what happens is that because of this craving or addiction, it's a literal addiction at the cellular level, you develop this invisible belief system. We say invisible because you don't know that it's there, but what it is that all of us are just a point of view on two legs. And if any one of us had the right point of view that worked for everybody, there'd only be one point of view, because we would all want to be that point of view, right? So we're all of us are just a point of view on two legs, radiating out this invisible belief system. And then the invisible belief system is trying to find people and places and circumstances and events to come in and replay. It doesn't matter whether you're 10, 15, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, doesn't matter, to replay the traumatic events to generate the same feeling. It looks different, it sounds different, it's different people, different times, whatever, but the feeling is the same. It's the same feeling you had when you had the dirty diaper.
Theme is the same.
So the feeling is
hormone yelling.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same result of the hormone dump. All right. So to be able to know what the addiction is key. All right. Now the end result here is the effect side. Now the effect dichotomy is I do want it, but I don't get it, or I don't want it, but I do get it. In other words, the effect side, or the present day example, in this case, she has a present day 17. 17 is the endocrine system. It involves 17 is the atom bomb going off in life. Atom bomb is crisis, collision, out of balance, sitting at a red light, and bam, you get rear-ended. Going through an intersection on a green light, bam, you get T-boned. It's being up in the middle of the night thinking that the bedroom door is open and you're going out the kitchen to get a drink, and bam, because you didn't see it. No warning. Crisis, collision, whatever. This is the trigger. Whatever is going on in the present is the trigger, so for you to experience and re-experience whatever is in your cause. And this literally goes on and on again and again and again and again and again. So we help you understand, like in this case, this has happened 9 times to this person. And at these ages, we can calculate the ages that it happened. And we also can describe it. We have words that we give you that you have to look up. So in this case, sector is the core word to look up that represents the soul pattern versus the stress pattern. Virgin is the cause word to look up, and place is the effect word. And then we have a series of questions, 15 questions. They're always the same 15 questions that we ask. Each and every one of these traumas have their own set of words because it's a different time. Now you'll notice here that on this particular chart, we have a 55 and 55. We have a double whammy at age 55. We have a double whammy at 35. We have a quadruple whammy, excuse me, at age 28. Wow. Now what's double and triple and quadruple whammies? Well, they're an easy mark. You're walking down the sidewalk, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and you move left, so I move right to and then you move back, and then eventually, because we're not going to be able to pass each other, is that the right word? Pass? But anyway, we come face to face, and so we stop, and so I haul off and I slap you on the right side of your face, or left side, I guess. If I go like that, it would be your left, and whoa, all right, that's a single whammy, all right. You just stand there like, whoa, what just happened? And so I slap you on the other side of your face. And that's a double whammy. And you're still standing there trying to figure out, whoa, how, I mean, I don't even know this person, whatever. So then I wear back, and I hit you square in the nose. Whoa, that's a triple whammy. See? And then you're still there. You still haven't decided that I'm a threat. I shouldn't be anywhere near. I should not be in your personal universe whatsoever. So I wear back and I give you an uppercut. See, that's a quadruple whammy. Quadruple whammies are pretty hard to find because most people wake up after the first one, actually. All right.
Where does the resistance at that point? Since this person is obviously not responding, and there's no hormone dump to move them out of the way, where's that fit in with? On the third hit, do they move? Do they do something?
Well, eventually they get it. Hence,
then they have a hormone dump at that point?
Right. Well, yeah, the hormone dump happens as soon as there's the collision.
Oh, so okay, all right, but
the cells think there's a party going on.
Right.
So double and triple and quadruple whammies are never good. Is basically the point I want to make here. Is all. And also there's a thing called black holes are never good. Meaning I don't have the rest of this person's report. But if you'll notice there that it's easy to see that there's a 28-year black hole. See, up here in the cause box, you see it says age 7. So it's saying the chain began at age 7 for this person. Something happened at age 7. Anytime we say an age, it's 2 years on either side. So a 7 means 5 to 9. Okay, somewhere between the age of 5 and 9, something happened to this person. It had a whole lot to do with pulling the rug out from under them. But down here at the ages of the traumas, there's nothing earlier than 28. There's a 28-year what we call black hole here. So all this means is that we're going to process each of these ages represent traumas, represent invisible tumors, if you want to call it that are manipulating and controlling you to this day. And you need to eradicate all of them. And you do that by shining the light of wisdom into understanding, first of all, who you really are and why it's been so doggone hard to be it and to do it and to have it. And now why do I have this physical problem? And it's all about resistance.
Well, that was interesting. If the same situations keep showing up in your life, it is not coincidence. It's a pattern. When you understand what is driving that pattern, real change becomes possible. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Common Sense Wellness with Dr. Gary Martin. To learn more about the testing and resources we discussed, or to find out how you can take charge of your own health, visit BIRI.org. You'll find valuable information, free tools, and ways to connect directly with our wellness community. That's BIRI.org. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and share the show with someone who's ready to take their next step toward better health.